Hey, come here, check this out. Today we're looking at the second shape of the natural minor scale in the key of E. We're going to be playing this at the 2nd fret, the 3rd fret, and the 5th fret on the 6th and the 5th strings. 2nd, 4th, and 5th on the 4th and the 3rd strings. And then we're going to play 3 notes per string, so we're going to play the 3rd, 5th, and 7th on the 2nd and the 1st strings. So be able to play that one up and down. I did a practice lesson in the last lesson where we go up and down. And just a reminder, work on your dynamics, work on keeping your elbow in, work on moving that hand back and forth, choking up on your pick, making sure that you're playing everything as tight as possible and keeping things as clean as possible, because that's something we all want to work on. And in this lesson, I just want to look at a few licks that are within this scale that you can play if you're playing over a backing track or you're playing in a band and you want to use this particular shape. There's some cool stuff that's in here. So be sure to like, subscribe, and share. I do have a free course out there for you. It's at justpickuptheguitarandgo.com. And you can check that out. The link is in the description, along with the link to the Patreon lesson that I'm exploring with this shape and the backing track that I'm using in this lesson. So if you want to check those out, they're out there too. But that free course, 7-day free course to unlock the fretboard, play with confidence and ease, and just pick up the guitar and go, is at justpickuptheguitarandgo.com. So I've got the backing track queued up, and I want you to first just hear the scale and how it sounds over the backing track. Now the backing track is in the key of E minor, so even though this is the second shape of the E minor scale, it's still going to sound like the E minor scale. In fact, we can start the E minor scale on the 4th string and the 2nd fret and play 2, 4, 5. And then on the 3rd string play 2, 4, 5. And then that's the same scale. We're just starting it on that 2nd fret of the 4th string, and that's your E minor scale right there. So those notes that are on the 6th and the 5th string, they're just the tail end of the E minor scale, because we could start on the 6th string and open 2, 3, and the 5th string open 2, 3. And then you got the lock in there, the 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, which technically makes this the Locrian mode, even though it's not the Locrian mode because we're not playing the key of F sharp minor, but it is the Locrian shape. If you're playing Locrian, you're going to play that shape. So now that you know all that, what can we do with this thing? Stuff like this. I'm playing slow for a purpose because I want you to hear some of these licks. Now use that E, that open E at the end there, to kind of resolve back to where this song's at. So just a couple things that I stuck in there. I did this one, which I also did here, and here. And that little lick I've shown in previous lessons. It's a little Los Angeles style 80s rock lick. On the 1st string I'm playing the 3rd fret, going back to the 2nd fret playing the 5th and the 3rd, going back to the 1st string playing the 5th and the 3rd, going back to the 2nd string and then playing the 5th, and just repetitive. Same thing on the 3rd and the 4th strings, where I'm playing within the scale. I'm playing the 4th and the 3rd string, then going to the 4th string, playing the 5th and the 4th, then to the 3rd string, 5th, 4th, then back to the 4th string and playing the 5th, and just repetitive. Doing the same thing on the 3rd string and the 4th string, where I'm playing the 2nd fret and the 3rd string, then on the 4th string playing the 4th and the 2nd, then on the 3rd string playing the 4th and the 2nd, then going back to the 4th string and playing the 4th. Just 3 shapes where I'm doing the same thing. And it creates some repetitive licks that, draw the listener to the music, right? I also did this little thing, which there's lots of variations for this. Where I'm playing on the first string 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, and then going to the second string, and I'm going to skip that 5th fret, and I'm just playing the 3 and the 7. 7, 3, 7. Really cool lick that if you can get it up to speed, it sounds really shreddy. But I can also alter it with, see, I'm grabbing that note that's on the 3rd string at the 5th fret, and I'm going there. Then I'm going back up, 2nd string 3, 7, 1st string 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, back to the 2nd string 7, 3, 7, back up to the 1st string, back to the 2nd string, and then after I hit that 3, I go to the 3rd string with my middle finger or my ring finger, whichever one's comfortable to you, and I hit that 5th fret. Then I come back and go through the scale again, but I alternate it. Like one time I do this, then the next time I do this. And what happens is it creates a repetitive lick that has like a little pause in there. It's got this little, right, that makes the listener, again, what? What's going on there? So that's something you can throw in there as well. And I'll explore that in future lessons also, because you could take that across all kinds of shapes. I mean, we could practically take that all the way across the fretboard if we wanted to. There's all kinds of stuff in there. I think I also did some slip slidey licks like this. So you could just go back and forth between the notes of the scale. Whenever you see a 4-note pattern, like for instance across the 3rd and the 4th strings, I have the 2nd fret, the 4th fret, and the 5th fret, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. But I could just play the 2nd and the 4th on both these strings, or the 4th and the 5th. And of course you can do all that slip slidey stuff there too. There's just all kinds of cool stuff in there. You create all kinds of melody lines and stuff like that. One thing that I was playing with earlier was playing outside, but combining it with inside. When I say that, I mean, like for instance, on the 4th string, we could play the outside notes, or I play the 2nd and the 5th, and I skip that 4th fret. But on the 3rd string, I play the inside note. I play the 4th fret and the 5th fret on the 3rd string, but I skip the 2nd fret. So on the 4th string, then on the 3rd string. That creates some interesting tension. Now, that's one of those practice type licks where I'm going from the 4th string, then I'm using my index finger to grab that 4th fret of the 3rd string, then go back to the pinky on the 5th fret of the 4th string. But what would be more economic would be using my ring finger and my pinky. So I'm using my ring finger to play on the 3rd string at the 4th, pinky on the 3rd string at the 5th, and then pinky on the 4th string of the 5th, index finger on the 4th string at the 2nd. But ergonomically, that's not as easy for me as this is. So something you got to play with. You got to train yourself to do things that may not be as comfortable to you, which goes back to some practice ideas that whatever you're good at, keep playing with that, keep practicing with that, because it's going to make your playing that much better. But whatever you're not good at, practice, 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 because it's going to make that much better. Like for instance, there's one lick that I love to do, and it's a neoclassical lick, and it's within this scale. It sounds like this. Where I'm playing one note outside of the scale that I showed you, but it's still within the E minor scale. I'm playing on the first string, I'm playing at the 8th fret. So I'm playing 7, 8, 5, 8, 3, 8, 5, 8, 7, 8, 5, 8, 3, 8, 5, 8. It's a little pedal lick, and I had a really hard time with that about 2 or 3 months ago, and I've been practicing it, getting it better and better and better, until I realized that that note right there, that's at the 3rd fret, is also on the 2nd string at the 8th fret. So I could, instead of doing that large stretch, I could go ahead and use my pinky to hit that 8th fret on the 2nd string when I play that 3rd fret. Instead of playing the 3rd fret, I can play the 8th fret. So it could sound like this. But my fingers don't want to do that, because what happens is I get really finger tied. Instead of going back to the index finger at the 5th fret, I want to go back to the ring finger at the 7th fret. And what happens is I wind up jumbling it up, and it gets kind of crazy and it gets confusing. But it's a great little practice technique, because if I keep adding it, keep adding it, keep adding it, I might get away from doing this and play this. But again, I'm still not there yet, so just something I got to keep on working on. And that's what you got to do too. You got to find things that you're good at, keep practicing, practicing, practicing. Find things that you're bad at, and then work on those, because it's just inevitably going to get better, going to get better, going to get better, but you just got to keep playing with it. There's just all kinds of stuff that you can do with these scales, but the more you play with it, the better you're going to get. So I do have a free course out there for you at justpickuptheguitarandgo.com. It's a 7-day free course, helps you unlock the fretboard, see it in a circular fashion, see how the shapes lock together like puzzle pieces, and basically understand the fretboard in a very intuitive way, so you can just pick it up and play whatever you want to, train your fingers to go where you want them to go on the fretboard, and not have to count notes and frets and all kinds of crazy stuff like we always do in lessons, but just play it without really thinking about it, which is, I think, pretty important. So if you want that free course, it's over at justpickuptheguitarandgo.com. I'm also extending this lesson into a Patreon lesson where I'm showing some tapping and all kinds of really cool stuff with this same shape. So if you want to check that out, I'll put the link in the description. Also, the backing track that I used in this lesson, I'll put the link in the description for that as well. It's over on my Patreon also. Get my free course, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next one.